Hello and welcome to day 2 of our prayer and fasting devotionals, or our second day that we're doing our devotionals, whichever you want to call it. And it's good to see you again. Just real quickly, I wanted to recap what we talked about yesterday, which was basically using the Lord's Prayer as a template and a way to structure our time together. And if you want to look into that, you can look at yesterday's video. But today I just want to give you some tips on how to get a prayer answered from God, or how to focus on hearing from God. I want you to look at 3 things, basically. The first one being set aside 3 days. And this is not just something that you can do when you're in a time of prayer and fasting, but since we're in a time of prayer and fasting, and we already are planning on spending 7 days, 3 of these days, you can focus on just one request, which is the second thing. The one thing, take 3 days focusing on one thing that you want to hear from God, one answer that you need. So that's the second thing. Focus on one particular question or one answer that you need from God. Do it for 3 days or 3 prayer times or more, and it could take longer. But at least 3 days. And then the third thing, which I think is brilliant, I wish I would have thought of it, but I didn't. And that is frame your question to God in a yes or no format. So, do you want me to take this job? That would be a way to do it. If you're presented with an opportunity, should I take this job? So on and so forth. You could go, Lord, I don't know what your will is here. I just want to do your will. I want to please you, which is all good. I want to hear from you. Will you tell me whether or not I should take this job, or, should I do it this way or that way, or should I continue where I am? And you just make it a very difficult thing to kind of clarify what it is that you actually want to hear. But if you frame your question in a yes or no format, do you want me to accept this position? Yes or no. Then you spend time listening and hearing. Then that makes it much easier for us to know when we've heard a yes or a no. Do you want me to marry so-and-so? Do you want me to you shouldn't ask him about starting to read your Bible, because he already wants you to do that. But you get the picture. I mean, there's all kinds of questions that we have for God that we need to get answers from, and then actually we need to, as believers and as we mature and as we grow, we need to be skilled, and it needs to be part of our skill set to be able to get an answer from God. There'll be other people depending on you getting an answer from God. Your children. Should I take my son to this doctor? Should I let my daughter go with this young man? Things of that nature. As you begin to think about all the questions that we have in our life, and I'm not saying that we need 3 days for each question, but as you get in the habit of yes or no questions and you take time to listen, what you'll find out happening is you'll get to the place where you just kind of real quickly check your heart about something if you don't have a whole lot of time, and you will be able to sense whether or not something's right or wrong, or yes or no, and it will be more clear to you as you do. This is something that you practice, not something that you do one time and then that's the last time you'll ever do it. This is something that you want to practice. This is something that you want to get in the habit of, and to make it the most simple, just do that. And again, write down the things that come to your mind. And don't forget, later on in the week, we're going to kind of look at what it is that comes to your mind, and then examining what, how to deal with it. So I just want to encourage you to keep going, to not give up, and make sure that, this time is enjoyable Fasting doesn't need to be something that we dread. It's uncomfortable on our flesh. It's not necessarily easy, but it doesn't need to be something that we dread. We are actually setting aside time to spend time with the most amazing person that there ever has been and who loves us dearly. And so when we frame it that way, we can actually look forward to it. So I want us to look forward to it. I wanted to give you some tips about that. I believe it'll help you. And so just don't be afraid to just share, or if you have questions, you can private message me. You can write contact at woodlandchurchonline.com. You can ask questions there and we'll get back with you, because our goal here is to help you navigate through this and be successful. So you have a blessed and great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.